Um, Very funny movie. Jason, it started with you, right? You started?
I apologize. Yeah, it's my fault. A friend of mine gave me a script that that was all about this, and we just figured out a way to change it from a man to a woman because I just fell in love with Melissa, and she was available and open to it, and away we went.
Why Melissa?
Good question.
Yeah, she's my favorite, so I just kind of went with first choice, and she said, "Great."
It's actually a great role. Can you tell us about it?
Yeah, well, I just loved it. I mean, it's not the role that usually I think a woman gets to play. I mean, it was originally written for two men, like you said, but I think she's complicated, and I like that she was the aggressor of the two, but not in a kind of, typical, like, angry about the world. It's just, she was physically aggressive and aggressive in the things she did for her life, but I don't know, I like that she was kind of complicated and lonely and isolated, and then was also this big, kind of bigger than life person too. I thought those are two strange things that don't really mix, but there they are. So it was just great. I mean, I had a really good time kind of figuring out that puzzle.
It's essentially a road movie.
Mm-hmm.
Can you comment on how the relationship evolves during the trip?
Well, two of my favorite movies are Midnight Run and Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, and in both of those films, you have two characters that hate each other, and by the end of the movie, learn to really like one another. And this follows a very, very similar concept, and that's just an interesting thing to track while there are hopefully colorful and funny things that are dressed around it, which you need to do in a comedy. But if you can put some sort of relatable, emotional spine in the middle of that, then you kind of create hopefully a proper balance. So it's not, you don't get like a sugar headache from, oh, it's so much funny and there's all these little crazy things that are happening. If you can kind of pair that with something that's a little bit more real, then I think you find a nice balance. And I knew that Melissa, all of her comedy comes from very real sort of acting, as opposed to hitting herself with a pie, in the face and wearing a funny clown nose. She's very grounded in what she does, and I knew that would be conducive to that sort of cocktail.
Now, this was a super physical role. I mean, you guys, it looked like you were actually doing a lot of your stunts, were you?
Yeah.
Some of it.
Yeah. So a lot of them we were. I mean, all the fighting. So much of the fighting is just too up. It's just too close, and it was so intertwined with the dialogue that there was really no way to kind of step back and let somebody else do it, because we were part of the escalation of the fight was happening. Even verbally was happening during this fight. So we kind of just knew that we had to just get in there and do it. And there was some blood and a lot of bruising.
There's this really very funny scene with Big Chuck. Can you talk about that whole scene?
Oh, Eric Stone Street, he was just, once we knew that he was going to do it, I think it was like everything just kind of made sense about it. And I knew he was going to be great, but I think he just made it even so much better than I thought it could be. He made it sweeter. He made him a real person who's bigger than life, but he kept it so nice and grounded. And the fact that he can go from so sweet to so kind of crazy, and you never lose that thread of he's a real person. But he's just amazing. I thought he kind of killed it.
Yeah.
Jason, it's like you are the full employment program. How do you do it? You go from movie to movie to movie. How do you do it?
I don't know. I've been very lucky the last few years that I've stayed employed, and I would love to keep it going. It would be nice. It's. I don't know. Knock wood. It can keep going. Hopefully they're all good. You don't want to just do stuff just to stay working. But I've had some really nice opportunities, so it'd be foolish to say no.
Now, I was just reading, Melissa, that you're starting your own clothing line. Can you comment on that?
I am. Sometime we're still talking about it, but I mean, that's what I thought I was going to be doing, was women's clothing, and I kind of ventured into costumes around, I think, 18 or 19 in college, but I was in clothing and textiles, so it's kind of something that I always thought I would do, and then kind of veered away from it delightfully. I love what I do, but I thought if I can do a little bit of that too, why not? Because I love it.
Living in this anorexic society, how does it feel to be a role model for people who are not anorexic?
I think it helps when you show a variety of everything, you know, color, size, shape, whatever it is. I think anytime movies or television has like a realistic display of people, I think the work's better, because I don't know any place where everybody looks a certain way, so I check out. So I just think, you know, there's a place for everything.
It's also just nice to watch somebody when you're consuming entertainment. You can kind of tell if the actors you're watching are comfortable in their skin, no matter what they look like. And Melissa certainly does that and has that, and you know, as a result, her performances are, you know, really hilarious.
The underlying thing here is identity theft, which is kind of like a serious business.
Yeah, for sure, and common.
And have either one of you had any experiences with that?
Not yet.
I had somebody years ago get into my checking account and drain it, and it took me, you know, I had no other way to get money, and they had drained, you know, at the time I just had one checking account, and they emptied it, and I couldn't get gas in my car, I couldn't pay my rent, and it was really scary. And I think now it's so much bigger that, you know, they can make new cards, and it's scary business.
And you carry the waistband of cash around, so
So
it's
now
never
we're a
gonna be
fanny pack
problem.
of all cash and diamonds.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Except for the sock money, right?